Hi, I'm Rohas Nagpal, and in this video, I'm going to explain how AI Blueprint for Lawyers works. It's an open source AI native infrastructure that I'm building for lawyers and law firms. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about here is that it's a very flexible system, so you can choose a lot of the features. So, for example, you can decide what AI provider you want to use, and you have to simply enter your API keys here. So, for example, in my case, I've entered API keys for OpenAI, Anthropic, Google Gemini, Grok, Olama. And then once you've entered your API keys, you can select which models you want to use, which do you want the default to be. So for example, if I decide I want to do Anthropic, I can see these are the live best models available right now, and then I can pick whichever one I want to use. You can also set the max output tokens and the temperature. If you don't know what that means, just leave it. And then you click on Save Chat Model. You can also choose your embedding model from here. And once you've done that, you can then decide which AI models you're going to use for what use case. I'll go deeper into that very soon. Then the RAG, of course, is a very, very important part. This is where your knowledge base is going to be stored. So if you don't want that to go online, then don't choose Open AI RAG. Then you can choose the local Llama index plus Chroma DB, which means all your confidential documents will remain on your local system. But remember one thing, if your RAG is local, but the AI intelligence that you're using is running from the cloud, then information is going to go out. So for that, you can even run a local model, which means you can take one of the LLMs, download it and run it on your local system and then connect it to AI Blueprint. In that case, none of your data is ever going to go out. So here, let's say we've taken the local RAG. Then we can also tune the RAG behavior. So things like retrieval, chunking. If you don't know what that means, just leave it alone. It doesn't matter. You can set some chat preferences. For example, do you want the chats to be concise, balanced, or detailed? You can set that. Then for documents, you can select what kind of file extensions should be allowed, what kind of max file limits you want to set, totally up to you. And then you have appearance, where you can change the font sizes, the branding, and those kind of things. Now, I forgot to mention one thing earlier, but there are two ways in which you can use AI Blueprint. So one is a local mode, which is running only on your, let's say, your laptop, and only you are accessing it. The second is you can set it up in a network mode. So it can run for your entire LAN, or you can even host it online. It's completely free and open source, so please feel free to do whatever you want with that. Now that we've seen the settings, let me show you something more interesting. Now, Blueprints is something that only runs in the LAN mode or the signed in mode. So for now, I'll skip that. I'll make a separate video on that. Same for matters. Now let's look at add documents. Now one option is you can simply drag and drop documents here. The moment you do that, they get pushed to the RAG, local or cloud, depending on what you've said. If you want, you can even add a web page URL from here. Then you can connect an entire folder. The benefit of connecting a folder is whenever new files are added into that folder, you have to just click on the sync button and it will immediately sync. Even if something is deleted from there and you click sync, it will be removed from the RAG. Then you can also directly browse and upload from folders, or you can do it, like I said, from URLs. Now you can also view all the documents that you have uploaded so far. And if you want, you can click the chat button here and directly have a chat with that particular document. So your chat would only look at that document while answering all your questions. Another very interesting feature is the concept of LLM counsels. Let's take an example of arbitration counsel. Now in this case, 4 different AIs can run for you. So you can choose that for party A, I'm going to be using OpenAI. For party B, I'm going to be using, say, Claude. For devil's advocate, I'm going to choose Grok. And then for the presiding judge, I'm going to choose another AI model. All 4 AI models will then run and complete the work that is allotted to them. So as of right now, there are 2 templates here. One is for arbitration and one is for grading a moot court. I will be adding a lot more here. Another very interesting feature is personas. So they come under different categories. Let me just go to the legal one. Here there's an interesting one which is called contract reviewer. So you can click on details and then you can see what that particular prompt is all about. So it gives a very detailed step-by-step instruction on how contracts are supposed to be reviewed. So for example, it says step 1, you have to make a review table using the CUAD 41 parameter contract review. So all of that will be then done when you use the contract reviewer. Now let me show you an example of how that works. So in this example, I have uploaded documents, so they are available in the RAG. So those are contracts. And then I have used the persona of contract reviewer. So depending upon the use case, you can choose which persona to use. When I use the contract reviewer persona and then I asked it to review, it created a very detailed review, including the 41 parameters which we just spoke about. As you can see, all of them here. Lots of features are being added. And my objective is that individual lawyers, law firms, corporate in-house legal teams, anyone should be able to use this. And one more feature that I'd like to quickly mention is the emails. So if you want AI to automatically answer your emails, even if it's a legal opinion that has come to that, you just set up the email settings so that the system knows where to pull emails from and which SMTP to send them from. And then every time an email comes, it'll pull it. Depending upon the persona and documents that you've selected, it will answer the email and create the reply here. You can tweak that reply or you can click send and it'll immediately be sent on your behalf. So I hope you enjoy using this product. It's completely free and open source. You can download the code from GitHub. And I'll be doing a lot more live sessions explaining one by one all the different features. Thanks.